Hello everybody, welcome back to another video with Jess from Learning with Jess, and today I'm going to be talking about acetaminophen versus ibuprofen, aka Tylenol versus Motrin, two common painkillers and how they work. Alright, picture this. You just finished a long workout, but you start feeling really bad pain in your muscles in your back. You decide to take a painkiller. You have two options: Tylenol and Motrin. Which one works for your problem? Before we get into any conclusions, I want you to take a look at the drug names versus the brand names. As you see, Motrin is a common brand name for the drug ibuprofen, and Tylenol is a common brand name for the drug acetaminophen, also known as paracetamol. Ibuprofen can also be called Advil, and acetaminophen can also be called Calpol, Panadol, and Crocin. These are common brand names that you might see in your local CVS or somewhere, or in a drugstore. Now, let's move on to acetaminophen versus ibuprofen. Both ibuprofen and acetaminophen work well with fever and pain, but there are some key differences. Let us understand how these two drugs work in situations like this and which one may be better. Ibuprofen explained. Ibuprofen works well with pain and fever and also swelling. It blocks a certain chemical called prostaglandins, which cause pain, swelling, and inflammation. A simple analogy for this would be fire, pain, and ibuprofen. Ibuprofen will splash water on the fire, it will go out, and the pain goes down. Ibuprofen works everywhere around the body and takes away the pain and treats the injuries. Now let's move on to acetaminophen. Acetaminophen works with pain and fever too, but it does not help with swelling. Acetaminophen is more of a pain signal stopper. It tells your brain to not feel pain, but the injury is still present. A simple analogy for this would be a volume knob on a radio. When acetaminophen is taken, it turns down the pain signals in your brain so you don't feel them, but the injury stays. Acetaminophen works in the brain, blocking pain signals, so it's not much of a help with swelling or muscle pain. Here are the chemical structures for both of the drugs. Acetaminophen is made up of 8 carbon, 9 hydrogen, 1 nitrogen, and 2 oxygen, so it is a relatively small molecule. This is what the chemical structure looks like. And for ibuprofen, it is made up of 13 carbon, 18 hydrogen, and 2 oxygens, so it is a much larger molecule than acetaminophen. This is what the chemical structure looks like. By the way, this is what people call a carbon ring, so it is made up of 6 carbons. Now let's see the effects on different body organs. Effects on kidneys. Ibuprofen is much harder on the kidneys because it blocks the chemicals prostaglandins and the blood vessels in the kidneys narrow. So that means less blood goes to the kidneys and kidneys filter less efficiently. Acetaminophen works in the brain, so there is no change to the blood flow to the kidneys. In conclusion, acetaminophen works better in case of kidney problems. Now for liver, acetaminophen is harder on the liver. It creates a toxic byproduct that liver must neutralize. If too much acetaminophen is used, the system becomes overwhelmed and liver cells can get damaged or destroyed. Ibuprofen, on the other hand, is safer on the liver because there are no byproducts that get created. The liver is not overwhelmed or damaged when it processes this drug. In conclusion, ibuprofen may be preferred in case of liver problems. Now to summarize this, acetaminophen and ibuprofen are both common pain relievers sold under multiple brand names. They work differently and are used for different kinds of pain and stress different organs in the body. Now going back to my picture this question, if you have back pain after doing a cross-country run, consider taking ibuprofen as it is effective with muscle pain and athletics injuries. In case of any kidney issues, consider acetaminophen. And in case of liver issues, ibuprofen may be recommended. Thank you for listening, and be sure to like and subscribe for future learning videos.